And now we are starting to head south. So welcome to Rotherham Central. So from York, it was a changeover at Doncaster, and now we are here. So we're heading back towards Edale, where I can then get in the car and venture back home. But it's not what I was expecting, if I'm honest, but we'll make do and make the best of what we can here. And done my research, so let's have a little look around. So welcome to Down the Line. So the original station here at Rotherham opened in 1868 as a terminus for the line from Tinsley. Now here there are 4 platforms, 2 belong to the National Rail and 2 belong to the Sheffield Supertram. So there's obviously your local side and getting up and down the county. It's managed by Northern, however you do get Northern and some TransPennine that do come here sometimes. Destinations of course, Sheffield up to Leeds, in between. So your local services are more or less covered. So Rotherham's pretty good from a local point of view, that's a dead cert.
I was definitely surprised to see a tram enter the station on the same track that I just alighted my train from. I was also quite surprised by the platform layout, as with having 4 platforms, it wasn't the standard layout that you would expect here.
So in regards to the first station here in Rotherham, that was actually built on a site known as the Coal Yard by the South Yorkshire Railway, and the current station here at Rotherham Central is actually the 4th station to be built in the town centre. So when I had a look, the history on it was quite vast and quite confusing. But what I do get a glimpse of is that if you probably explored around here and knew where to look, there's probably a lot of dismantled / disused stuff to do with railways around here. I believe there was a line, I think it was a separate line to Mexborough, I don't know if it was connected to here, whatever, but like I said, it wasn't as clear cut as what other stations have been. But again, I think if you actually look and scratch beneath the surface, there's probably a lot to explore in Rotherham, but you never know.
There also seems to be quite a big connection between Rotherham, Tinsley and Mexborough, and it seemed that this was a terminus for the line specifically from Tinsley when the first station was first around here.
So here's some information that I managed to decipher while looking at the history. In 1874, the permanent station was named Rotherham Central. However, in 1889, it was renamed Rotherham and Mexborough, and then in 1950, it renamed back to Rotherham Central. So again, I've said this many times, and I wish someone who knew would tell me what is the rationale behind station name changes, especially when they have, for example, Rotherham Central, change it and then go back. Why would you go back on something that you've already changed it? It doesn't make sense in my eyes. Maybe it was because, like I said, with other stations or whatever being here and being the only one left, they have to call it Central. I don't know. But it's a tough one to think. This happens all the time. I always get very confused, and it does intrigue me. I think actually further on, instead of banking on comments from people to tell me, I think I should start researching myself, shouldn't I? There'll probably be a lot of confusing stuff and rationale to find out, but that's why we do this.
From first appearances, you don't really feel a lot of history within the specific station, but when on the train, you can see plenty of siding lines in relation to Rotherham's industrial heritage, and this is a common feature amongst Yorkshire cities.
So for those who can be slightly critical of a station like this, there has been some investment in it. In 2012, albeit 10 years ago, there was £8.5 million spent on a complete refurbishment here. However, that should have actually been completed a long time before that. It was plagued with delays apparently, and was actually quite a pain to finish off. But nonetheless, I don't know. I feel like with this station, Rotherham deserves a bit more than just double track. That's how I feel about it. I feel, yeah, Rotherham deserves a bit more here, I reckon. And doesn't do it justice. It's hard to explain, but like I said at the start, this wasn't what I was expecting, but we make do.
It was even nice to see a Class 158 pull into the station, and this class seems to be a favourite amongst enthusiasts. But even though it was planned, this isn't going to be my final station, as I will now explain on the outro.
Okay, so that is my time at Rotherham Central, all done. It was short and sweet, and there's only probably about 4 minutes before my next service takes me back to Sheffield, and then onto the Hope Valley line to take me back to Edale, and then to the car. I am planning, however, because this will be my last trip up north for the remainder of the year, I'm planning on giving Edale its own separate episode. So hopefully the daylight stays as it is, because there's a bit of blue around in the sky. So fingers crossed, and I can get that done when I get back instead of going straight home. But nonetheless, it's been fun at these stations so far. So we're going to try and end it on a high. But you know how it goes. But anyway, I will see you next time down the line.